We good to go? All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Monday Night Coaches Show live from Rio Grande Patio with the cool shades man, Brad. Ooh. You can take those off in about 5 minutes. That sun will drop right down. Yeah, this is the Coaches Show with Coach Brad LaPlante. We do this every Monday night, 6 p.m. here at Rio Grande. We've got a nice crowd tonight joining us. Hopefully we have a lot of folks watching also on the live stream. Hey, we had, during the game Friday night, we had at times over 300 people logged in or devices. So who knows how many people that represents, say
40,000?
Yeah, I think there's probably 10 people per device, so we'll say 3,000. Yeah. It was a good crowd that was watching Friday night. So, well, we are back on a winning note. Fun to come do a coach's show after a win. Friday night against Waco High School and kind of turn things around. And we'll talk a little bit about that and how we kind of flipped a switch at halftime. I don't know if you're going to be able to share with us what was said, Landon, but something happened at halftime and magic happened in the second half. It was fun.
It's good.
Yeah, absolutely. Our special guests tonight are Landon Watson. We'll talk to Landon here in just a little bit, and also Dr. Lakeisha Whitfield will join us. Dr. Whitfield's the new principal of the 9th grade center that opens next fall. But we're going to talk to her about more than just 9th grade center. Dr. Whitfield had a son that was a stud football player at Hutto a few years ago that's still playing ball somewhere. So, hey, we're doing something new. So for those of you that are in the audience here, here's the deal. This hat, and this shirt are all up for, not auction, what am I trying to say, drawing. So Ryan sitting right over here has tickets, so grab yourself a ticket, and then throughout the show we're going to draw for the hats and the shirt. Anybody's eligible, so grab yourself a ticket. Terry Doggett's going to be the first one up. Yep, grab yourself a ticket. Drew Hargrove tells us this is a brand new hat right off the press, right? Sweet. Somebody's going to be the first one to grab that hat. Coach's Show is sponsored by Fingerprint Ideas, Drew Hargrove, and all the things he does for the football team. We appreciate that. Drew, you're awesome. All right. Well, Coach, let's talk a little bit about Friday night game against Waco Lions, and you guys obviously came out and maybe a little bit of a hangover from the previous Friday against College Station, but obviously things got turned around. Ultimately end up winning the game 35-21 over the Waco Lions. But talk a little bit about just the feel coming out. We talked last week about how weird it was in College Station with there not being a band and not being cheerleaders, just that odd feeling of missing out on a lot of the things that make high school football special. But roles kind of reversed this week. Come out, and our band's there, or part of them, our band, our cheerleaders. But it was also senior night, which is a special night that usually is reserved for the last game of the year. But because of the potential of things kind of going haywire, decided to do senior night on the first game this year. So, yeah, talk a little bit about that first. Let's just talk about senior night and how special that is, and we'll ask Landon about that too.
Well, I think as we went through talking about things in August for district officials, knowing when we finally had a season on our hands, everybody from band, cheer, superintendent, athletic director, yourself, all the hands involved, everybody agreed we had to get that in very first game. And, of course, there are some things that throughout the course of the season we will have to cancel or we won't do, or the traditions may not be there, but that's one that you just don't cancel. And we got to take care of our seniors. Some of these kids have been, in their prospective program since 7th grade all the way up to now. And we saw what last spring did when you take things away from people that have put so much time and energy and effort into it that it was only right to celebrate our seniors game one.
Did it still have an odd feeling doing that early in the year, or did you kind of forget that and it's like, no, this is still senior night?
I mean, it's senior night. There are some things that at the end of the season when you have it, by that time your district or your playoff, some things are in hand. So, luckily we've been able to, since 2014, have those seniors, maybe if they're a backup, play a whole bunch of plays or have a different role or do different positions or have some fun during the actual game to celebrate them. Whereas this year, we're new, we're young, it's right before district ball game, we're trying to build the team. There are so many just situations and factors that go into what can I do for the seniors. But, it's just nice to see the appreciation from the parents. A lot of different comments, even before the game happened. Thank you for doing it right. Thank you for celebrating those kids, and just genuine.
Well, and a little bit of kind of extra planning out of the ordinary had to go into this senior night, right? And kudos to Michelle and some of the Chris Contreras, some of the other folks that worked hard because you had to not only line them up like you always do, but you had to line them up 6 feet apart, right? And kind of get them in the right order. And
Which the way that we did it might be a process that we continue to do, because a week before the parents all knew what lane they were. We spaced out some cones, and it was great. It was casual. It was good. They were able to have conversations back there, and they weren't second guessing who to go see, where to go, what do I do when I get there. They all knew, and it was great. It was a good night.
Landon, what is obviously you've been part of the program for a number of years, and you've seen all these other seniors kind of go through their senior night, right? Mm-hmm. What did it mean to you? All of a sudden, you're there. You watched these guys be there before. Now you're there. You're that guy. How did it feel?
It was definitely fun going out there with the other seniors and just knowing that this is a brotherhood that we built, a family that we built over the years, and just to know that we get to go out there senior night, play as a team, and just celebrate us being seniors. It was a great feeling.
I guess one of the things you guys often do at senior night before the games is you have a lot of guys have the opportunity to give speeches in the locker room, and kind of usually it's kind of the last mm-hmm. thing, right? And this year it's kind of more the first thing, but I mean, you don't have to share us in detail, but did you have something special that you said and that you prepared, or did you just kind of speak from the heart and let it flow?
I definitely addressed the team that I wouldn't want to be nowhere else but here in Hutto, Texas, playing with my brothers and playing with the family and just building that brotherhood and leading the young guys up and just carrying that brotherhood on whenever we leave. So it was just fun.
Yeah. And we'll talk to Landon a little bit more and a little bit about what the future holds for him. Future is obviously very bright. And did you go over to that game on Saturday?
I didn't. I watched it, though.
Yeah, you didn't get to go watch your future teammates beat the Longhorns?
Nah,
yeah.
I didn't.
I guess they're probably not letting that, maybe. They're probably not letting recruits do that right now, are they? It's kind of a moratorium on all
Buy
things.
your chicken, you still get there, but all the recruiting rules are different this fall.
Yeah, just changes everything. Well, let's talk a little bit about the game. Came out, I guess, kind of flat a little bit, lack of a better way of saying it. Waco got the ball and went down, scored. I know the week before that against West Mesquite, they'd scored on their first 3 possessions of the game. So, obviously they had shown that tendency to kind of light it up quickly, and they did. Got us behind on the scoreboard early on, but then we were just a little bit slow, kind of getting things going, and finally got on the board. I think at one point tied at 7, and then go into halftime down 14-7. But talk a little bit about the first half first, and what were some things that were happening, and then adjustments that we made at halftime.
Well, it's always the game within the game, of course. A missed block here, a missed tackle there, and we thought even on their longer touchdown there in the first half, we were there to make the play and just didn't make the play. Bring your feet and we'll have that tackle and be there. But we knew coming into it that their running back was a good running back. He was going to run his feet and do a good job. For the most part, their quarterback was pretty accurate. Of course, they played a couple different guys there.
They played a different quarterback then. Did that surprise you guys? Number 19 rolled out there? Yeah,
a little bit. And, pregame warm-ups, we caught a couple different things that they were doing. Of course, everybody's going to have 2, 3, or 4 quarterbacks that they're rolling through, but which one's going to come back under center and take those snaps is a guessing game. But we knew that, their X and Z receivers are fast, and they proved that. We couldn't get over the top of them on a couple different plays, and give them credit for that. But, then we just have to make our in-game adjustments, and it's always, whether it's O-line versus D-line or wide receiver versus corner, you have to feel that out. And, of course, you want to be the aggressor and win the early downs. They did that, but our guys didn't panic. It wasn't, oh, here we go again. It wasn't any of that boo-hoo on the sideline. And, it's just a matter of what's going to work with what the plan and details. There's never just one defensive lineman. Even today we've got a few different ways we're going to attack our next opponent, because if base doesn't work, we've got to have that next thing available. And that's what our kids did. They followed along with the plan, and of course you saw the second half, much better momentum. And that was just our guys saying, all right, it's time to play. Let's grow up a little bit, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to be the aggressors and play with better tempo, better communication, and you saw the end result there.
It's very interesting how you can watch a football game from our perspective. Obviously, being on the sidelines, being involved in it is a whole different perspective. But even from where we were, came out in that second half, took the opening kickoff, and went down. Yeah, you can take those shades off now. That sun's behind the tree. Although you don't look as cool as you did. You got that ball, went down, scored, tied it up, and from our perspective, of course, Bryce was down on the sidelines, and he said, man, you could just tell the energy level was different. I think not only from the team, but from the crowd. There was just that different feel. All of a sudden, momentum has happened, and it's all with the Hippos. And boy, from that point on, it was pretty dominant second half by Hutto.
No, it was, and I think our kids, they fed off the energy of the crowd, and we want more of that, because if our guys play off it, we got to keep our home crowd
and even
rolling.
at 50%, it was still
well. And
good
we even
crowd.
checked ticket numbers at the end of the game when we got back into the office. We thought there were more people than what it was because of the crowd noise and level that we had, and our guys feeding off it. But it's just, again, it's going to be a step by step, week by week process. Even Landon, this is only your second game playing some of the positions that you're in. So he's a veteran player, but young at that position. So as our guys, learn to grow, and even having J.J. Banks out for this game, we had to shuffle some guys around. There were guys that played maybe as a scale of 4 or 5 out of 10 that played an 8 or 9 this game. And that's just experience. That's getting into the flow. Certainly that's playing at home and the comfort. We've had cheer, we had the tunnel, we had our fans, we had our band. Just being in our locker room, running out a different game day schedule, not getting out of class early on a Friday. So many factors that are positive at home that we need to adjust when we're back on the road now this upcoming Friday, because we've been there, we've done that. The excuses are less. We're getting better each practice and week by week here as we go.
What kind of adjustment did you guys make? Because it seemed like there in the first half, their go-to play was that sideline screen, right? I mean, that was just over and over, and they were having success with it. Of course, they had that 196-yard run after catch, or 94, whatever it was, long. But second half, that didn't do anything for them. Right. So y'all did something at halftime. You talked about something, made some kind of adjustment to completely shut that down.
Well, whether it's against a 2-wide receiver set or a 3-wide receiver set, there's 3 or 4 different ways that we have to attack it. And, you saw some switches. It might be get a guy in there for 4 plays, get him a break at corner, maybe move a safety here or there. But by and large, it's just us playing better. Are we playing faster? Are we playing more physical? Are we using our hands, not ducking head inside and then letting them outside? And, the more that you spread the field, and you may have noticed that their splits, they weren't just on the top or the bottom of the numbers. At times, they're almost to the sideline like the old Baylor splits. Well, the more spread out you are, the more precise your angles need to be to leverage that hip and get to the ball. And on the backside, it affects you as well if the play is away from you. We saw some great clips of guys backside. It might have been Jacoby Duncan from defensive line, instead of watching the ball, turning and running and going making a play 35 yards downfield, or Jose Pena on the far side getting a good angle. Those are things that we didn't do last week. So those are all part of the practice habits and things that we do to try to get guys in that game mode, and the play not be your way, but you do have a job till that whistle blows. So our guys are buying into that and doing a much better job with that as we go.
For you, Landon, you're not only playing a new position this year, your senior year, but you're also playing for a new defensive coordinator, right, and Coach Harvey. How has that adjustment been for you, making the switch and then new coaching, probably some new terminology, things like that?
Well, I feel that Coach Harvey came in with a different mindset and had the kids inspired and fired up, being the best defense in the state of Texas. And just me switching to a new position, I knew that I wasn't the only one that's going to be switching to a new position. So we're all learning. It's a learning process. It's not going to be an overnight thing, and just getting better every day in practice and stuff like that. So it made everybody, I'd say, inspired and happy and fired up for the season. So we practice hard, and Coach Harvey preaches having that mode mentality every day, on and off the field. So with us carrying that mentality, we play together. So,
what's Coach Harvey on the intensity meter from 0 to 100?
Coach Harvey's pretty intense. I give him 100 all the time, but he's intense in a good way. He's always positive. He's always leading the young guys up. You know, he's definitely going to coach hard, but he coaches out of love, so everybody loves him.
He is intense.
That's what it should be.
Yeah.
You can't be soft and play football.
No. At all.
Yeah.
Maybe as a radio commentator, but not a football coach.
No, we're not soft as radio commentators. We're intense up there. Yeah. So we talked last week. We did in the show about the size of Waco. They were pretty large fellows, weren't they?
Yes, sir. Yeah, they were a lot bigger team than us. You know, our D line was undersized, but our whole defense kind of was a little undersized, but we still played hard and still played like we were the bigger team. When
you're on the field warming up pregame, do you sneak a peek down at that other end of the field and try to size up some of those guys?
Not really. I'm just focused on getting warm, getting my team ready, and just getting ready to go battle against whoever. It doesn't matter who's in front of us. We're always going to be ready to compete.
Yep. Seemed like that with that momentum switch in the second half, there was a lot of confidence that began to happen. Even you had some of your receivers who first half just balls. Grayson's passing percentage would have been a whole lot higher in the first half if some guys would have caught some balls, right? But those same guys came back in the second half, caught everything thrown their way, and turned them into some scoring plays. A lot of times, is it just that? Is it just about developing that confidence, having a success, having the positive play happen, and then it just feeds off of that?
I think every time in sports it is. I mean, how many times do you see a good shooter make his first shot in basketball and he makes the next 11? But he misses his first one and it takes him a while to get on track. I mean, that could be any position. Just you want to feel good and have that good opening block, that tackle, that reroute, the good route, the good catch, the good ball, whatever it is, to feel good. And if it doesn't happen, that's your psyche. But you can only control what you can control, and that's why we always preach, do your job and play the next play, because that one's over, and if you're thinking about that one, it's going to affect your next two or three. And I think our guys for the most part did that, but that came from some leadership also at halftime. Guys believing in each other. Landon and I kind of had a little side conversation, and Landon, he saw what we were seeing as coaches. And then, when we call on players at halftime, we always want to be a player-led team. Okay, so Landon took it on himself to go ahead and make sure that he called out some of those younger guys. Well, you saw some chest puff right on up because that senior's calling me out and feeling good. And you know what? They played awesome in the second half. So that's the whole thing that we're trying to build, the team within the team, and make sure that, our crafty veterans are leading those younger guys up, and they need to feel good about themselves and know that they're doing right. If you don't hear it from your players and your coaches, it's just not going to happen. So it's good to see the coaches and our older guys be on the same page and noticing that from our younger guys.
Well, you had some guys, too, that just some toughness, the toughness factor, and that one touchdown run by Caron where they had him pretty much at about the 6 or 7 yard line, and he drug about 3-4 guys into the end zone.
He did.
That was just effort, right?
And that's him believing in himself. First of all, he's just learning some of our plays and our offense. Of course, we've had some shifts in the offensive line, so their blocks and where it's going to open up, and if we change some things up front, that affects him. So now he's starting to feel that, and of course we've seen 4 front and 3 front, so the holes up at different locations. But you could just tell that he was going to be the hot back on Friday night, and he was confident in everything that he did. And not only that affect him, It affected the offensive line. The receivers were out there blocking. I mean, Carson had so many, blocks down the field that the coaches gave credit for. 4, 5, 6 times the coaches were talking about him during the course of the game, extending those plays. That's huge for our offensive momentum.
Are those things that y'all notice during a game as coaches, or is it after you go back and watch the film that you start noticing more a lot of the away from the ball kind of great plays that guys are making?
No, it's both. Each coach has something different. So you may have somebody for the near side corner, somebody in safety, somebody for the far side corner and safety, somebody for the near side D-line or O-line far side. I like to get the angle so I can see through to the quarterback to see if it's play action, if it's run. For our offense, I want to see what our offensive line's doing to the the linebacker unit and still get that backside corner. So we all have different jobs that we're supposed to do, but every now and then you'll see a substitution because they just aren't quite moving fast enough for Hippo standards. So they got to be reminded of that and let that guy go in. And that's okay. If they're tired, tap on out. We'll get you a quick drink of water, go back and dominate the next 3 plays. But there's no saving yourself on varsity football Friday nights.
Seems so the rules changed this year. Players are allowed to spread out a lot more from, 10-yard line to 10-yard line?
Yes,
but that applies to coaches too, right?
Yes.
Because we noticed Coach Harvey at one point was down at about the 5 or 10-yard line, right on top of something. So, and Ryan was the one that made the observation. It's like, I think the coaches are allowed to do the 10 to 10 as well.
10 to 10. Everybody can move and spread out for social distancing. And honestly, I don't know.
That might be a rule that just needs to stick.
I mean, the basketball coach can almost go to half court
right.
and, at your basket in the second half when it counts. So.
There might be a lot of things that change when we get back to normal. They might realize that there were some things out of COVID that, in the end, might have been a little bit better.
You're right.
So Hippos obviously come away with that 35 to 21 win over the Waco Lions, and felt good to get on the winning side, 1-1. Of course, 2 non-district games that in the big picture don't matter in terms of playoffs, because now we start the real deal, which is district play, and that's what really is going to matter for playoffs. But it matters for confidence and a lot of those other things, and just evaluating talent, right?
Well, and I think if our kids don't understand how well we played in the second half and how we had that good teamwork and the brotherhood going and supporting each other and just the momentum, the energy, the tempo, the excitement. You saw D linemen just running their feet, guys working 20 yards down the field. Nobody's standing around, accepting or expecting somebody else to make a tackle. They were going to get in on it, wide receiver blocking downfield, just the way that we play ball. So now we just need to keep that going each week. And, the biggest thing going into district, try to come away injury-free. Do you have your defense installed? Do you have your offense installed? Are you making, the in-game adjustments? Can the kids, mentally handle that? And, of course, that would have been nice to have non-district game number 3. But, just seeing what we've done over the course of the 2 weeks and the growth that we've had and the belief in each other, I feel really good going into game 3.
Well, and ironically, the last 2 seasons, we had games, we lost non-district games in terms of not getting to play them, right? I mean, El Paso 2 years ago, and then last year, Houston Lamar, I think.
Lamar, yes,
yeah,
sir.
So it's not like that's a new thing for us to be shorted on our non-district games all of a sudden. Landon, let's talk a little bit about heading into your senior year. You made that commitment to the Horned Frogs.
Yes, sir.
See right there. Does that feel good for you to have that passed and you've made your decision, you're moving forward, and you can focus on your senior year and playing football and not dealing with all the recruiters, which obviously would have been even harder this year because it's all virtual and phone and whatnot?
Yeah, that was my main goal. I was talking to Coach Harvey. He also gave me a little advice to be able to make a decision before coming into the season, because I knew coming into the season I didn't want to have to deal with recruiting. I wanted to be 100% focused on my team and building the brotherhood and getting all the younger guys better and getting myself better as well, and just going in with that mentality to try to win every game. So I'm just glad that I got the recruiting out of the way and I can focus on my team.
So why TCU? What was it about TCU and Gary Patterson and the Horned Frogs that kind of swayed you over all the other folks that were after you?
Well, we fell in love with the campus and the people up there my freshman year when we went up there for a football camp, and that's when they extended me my offer in person. Coach Patterson sat down with my family, talked with me, and I had a good, long conversation with them, and that stuck with me and my parents throughout the whole recruiting process as we're going to visit all the other campuses and going to see what's different about these other college campuses that are different from TCU, and just everything else didn't match up to TCU. So, and I feel like TCU is a good fit for me and my athletic ability and where they want to utilize me is just a great fit for me, close to home, so I can still have access to my family and friends and be able to make my family proud and make my coaches and stuff proud.
Where do they intend to play you? Have they said they want to play you at linebacker? Or?
No, they want to play me as a stand-up defensive end.
So back to D end?
Yes, sir. Kind of like a stand-up defensive end, more athletic defensive end, kind of the Ben Banagoo role that he played 2 years ago, and utilized me there and moved me around all over the defense. So,
obviously, TCU and Coach Patterson have really kind of made a name for themselves with defense the last few years. Did that have something to do also with your decision of wanting to go to a school that was really known for its defense?
Definitely. The one thing that stuck out to me was that Coach Patterson calls the defense. So you got a head coach that's really wanting you to go to his team, and he's calling the defense. It definitely sticks out to me, and knowing that they had 11 players into the draft last year, and that was the most in the Big 12, actually stood out to me and my parents. So we definitely took that into consideration as well. And
obviously you know that you're not the first Hutto star to go to TCU, right?
Yes, sir.
Jeremy Curley back in, 2006? Is that when he went to TCU? And things worked out really well for him from the Horned Frogs on into the NFL.
Yes, sir.
Do you I know a lot of times guys, their senior year of high school, once you've made that commitment, you really kind of begin to connect with a lot of the other recruits that are going to the same school. Do you have that? Do you have a little group of guys that are headed to TCU next year, and you guys kind of are staying in touch?
Yeah, I talked to a lot of guys that are committed across the country and just trying to keep that Hutto to TCU pipeline going. You know, I have been talking to the coaches about a lot of young players on our team who could possibly potentially be a recruit for TCU, and just trying to get my players recruited at my school. So that'd be perfect.
You know, that's one of the things I love when I see you guys on social media, and obviously social media can be a very dangerous place, right? But I love when I see you on Twitter and some of the other guys saying, hey, you know, recruit my brother over here. He's a great player, and y'all really stand up for each other. It's not just about you. It's not about, hey, look at me. It's look at Braylon, look at all these other guys that I play with, and give them a shot too.
Yeah, that's my main goal, is getting my other teammates recruited. You know, I've already went through the recruiting process. My main goal is to get my other players on my team better, get them recruited, get their name out there, get their film out there, and just get them recruited as well.
What is if you look at TCU's schedule the next 4 years, beginning next year? Is there a game that you've looked at that you can't wait to go play at that place, whatever that place might be?
Well, I know in the Big 12 we're definitely going to be playing against UT and OU. I definitely got a lot of close friends that are in the same grade as me that are committed to schools like UT and Oklahoma and Kansas and just all schools in the Big 12, Baylor. You know, I have a lot of friends that are just all across the Big 12, and just being able to play against people that I know will be definitely a great experience.
What about their non-conference games? Have you seen what some of their non-conference games are coming up?
I have not.
Yeah.
I got to look at it.
Usually they've got a fun trip or two mixed in there.
He's got a few games here to concentrate
on.
So
I know. I know.
Shove him out the door yet, Todd.
No, I'm not. Hey, I'm not looking forward to watching him play against Tech for 4 years, you know, unfortunately.
I'm with you.
So, you know how that goes. All right, hey, Dr. Whitfield, why don't you come join us over here, talk to Dr. Lakeisha Whitfield as soon as she's able to grab a seat. So Dr. Whitfield is the to-be principal of our 9th grade center, which will open next fall, which will eventually become our second high school. And before I go with you, all right, if you haven't gotten your ticket yet for drawing, we've got these 2 hats, this T-shirt. Ryan sitting right here has the tickets. Grab your ticket, and I'm going to draw one here in just a second. And the first ticket drawn gets choice. So if you haven't gotten a ticket, come grab it. everybody's eligible. Even if you're sitting over on the side not watching the show, you're eligible too. Come on. All right, Dr. Whitfield, first, congratulations on being named the principal of the 9th grade center. What are you really most looking forward to in serving in that capacity?
Well, I'm looking forward to catering to the 9th graders. High school is difficult, but definitely more so in 9th grade. And I believe Hutto made a beautiful decision to say, let's pull the 9th graders out. Let's focus on them and help them transition to the high school, be it academically, emotionally, all of those things. And so I'm excited to create a culture that's going to, train those kids up. So I'm excited about it.
Well, and obviously you were at Hutto High School for 4 years. So you, having been a high school administrator, you know that what it's like to build those relationships with those kids. And right now, obviously, we're talking football. So speak specifically about your relationship with student athletes and what football or volleyball or basketball, but extracurricular things, the importance for those kids to be involved in other things and what that does for them in developing life skills.
Well, one thing is many people don't realize that athletics for a lot of students, that's what draws them to the school. That's what makes their attendance high. That's what makes them want to come to school. Also, you have that camaraderie with the other athletes to where I belong. This is my family, and I represent the high school. I represent Hutto, and it just grows them. It just makes them increase their self-esteem. I'm a part of something. They realize that my life is not just about me. There are other people who are depending on me, and my life matters. What I do matters. It teaches them so many skills, leadership, self-respect. So it's beautiful. And us as teachers and administrators, we love to go out and see them operating in a different arena. Typically, it's a classroom, but now we get to see them on the field, and we cheer for them. And it's amazing. Sometimes you see a different student on the field than you do in the classroom. Oftentimes they may be leaders in they may not be leaders in the classroom. Then they'd show up for the volleyball game or for the football game. They get that positive feeling from their students, from their classmates, and then it translates into life as well as the classroom. So relationships go a long way.
And then how do you, when you're talking to a kid and you say, hey, I saw you on the football field, I know what kind of leadership skills you have, I know what you can do with that, how do you help them take that and apply it to life?
Okay. You tell them it's no excuses because I know you can do it. You've shown me that you can do it on the golf field, tennis court, wherever. I know you can do it. The first thing is they just start beaming because they're so happy that you came to see them and support them. And so the same way we want to support you on the court, we're going to support you in the classroom.
And obviously, football is not a thing that's foreign to you. Yes. As I said a while ago, you had a son, Bishop Rhodes, who was a fantastic football player, even more fantastic young man when he was here at Hutto. But what was it like as you were an administrator at the school, but you were a football mom on Friday nights too.
Yes.
How was that transition?
Well, it was really nice because Mr. Christian always did me a favor, let me be the eagle eye in the sky so I can monitor, do my job, but also do my job as a mother. But it just goes to show that it's amazing because when my son transferred with me to Hutto, how important the athletic program is because I saw him grow and develop as a young man because of Coach LaPlante, Coach Mosley, Coach Van, all of those guys, because they're teaching so many different skills that you can translate into life. He just became a new young man, and I just was so proud that he just translated that into his life. Like his whole self-esteem changed. Who he was as a young man grew and developed because of the Hutto athletic program, and I'm grateful.
Yeah. And because of the home.
Because of the
Absolutely.
home. It plays a part, but yes.
A big part.
Yeah, he learned a lot of men skills.
Tell us what Bishop's up to now.
Well, Bishop, he actually went to Wabash College in Crawfordville, Indiana, an all-male school. He played football there, made a wonderful name for himself. He then transferred to, he got his bachelor's there, then transferred to the University of West of England. He's working on his master's now. Unfortunately, due to COVID, he had to come back. But he was playing football there, making a name for himself, and they were headed to the championships, but came back due to COVID. So he's finishing his master's and trying to figure out what he wants to do. A part of his journey is going to be a coach because he wants to give back the same way that you all gave back.
Wow. He'd be a good one. He'd be a fantastic one.
Well, thank you. He's looking forward to it.
So does he still have football eligibility left, or is he done?
He does.
Can he go back over there and
He
and
can.
play?
Yes, he can.
Does he intend to?
He may. He
Just
changes
depends
his mind
on-
from day to day
yeah,
every now and then.
yeah.
But he kind of feel like he got slighted with the COVID.
Well,
but,
sure.
But if he wants to go back, I'm going to support him.
Of course. Did you ever get to go visit him while he was over there?
That was on my agenda.
Yeah.
But I didn't
And then
make
COVID.
it. And then COVID.
Right.
Yes. But I'd love to go and visit Landon. Should he go somewhere, play in Canada
Yeah.
or the United Kingdom, anywhere, I'd go visit you, Landon. So proud of Landon as well.
I appreciate.
Yeah.
you know.
What were your experiences with Landon while you were over at the high school?
Well, when I first met Landon, I thought he had transferred in because there was no way this young man was a freshman. I said, he has to be a junior, senior, maybe even somebody's dad. He was so passive.
I think we all said the same thing.
But Landon is a model student athlete. He took care of his business in the classroom. He takes care of his business on the field. He's just a wonderful all-around young man, and very proud to see that he's committed to TCU and continue to grow and just do phenomenal things. And his journey is just getting started.
Right.
So we would always talk and jaw in the hallways.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
How was it last spring? You talk about the importance of seeing these student athletes, and that's their thing, or for some of them, that's their thing. That's the thing that keeps them going, right? Mm-hmm. How hard was it when COVID happened and everything got shut down, and these kids, they couldn't come to school, they couldn't finish their sports. They're, as an administrator, someone in education, that importance and socially and emotionally the how hard it was for kiddos.
Yeah, very difficult for the students as well as for us as administrators. But as far as the students, that just goes to show how important the relationships are. That's where we would email. I would email my students, how are you doing? I miss you, just checking on you. Or I would pick up the phone and call just to check on them, because the students do need that social interaction, that social contact, and know that we do care about you, not just as a student, not just as an athlete, but as a person as a whole. And then for me, COVID was difficult. It still is difficult because I don't get to see my kids.
Right.
Typically for administrators, the summers are difficult because our purpose is the children, and the children aren't there. So it's been difficult missing them as well. So happy that they're here, that they're back.
Well, tell us about your the plan for opening the 9th grade center, and what's your role right now? Because obviously you're working over at the administration building, and you're going to start here pretty quickly. You're going to start building your team and all of those things for next fall when we open the 9th grade center. What does that all look like?
It's a lot. It's an exciting journey. It's amazing. I think back to last summer when we did the groundbreaking, and now you can actually go and walk, and you can see the classrooms. You can envision the teachers and the students being in the classrooms. Right now I'm working on my instructional program, and one of the things, since it is designed to cater to the freshmen, I'm thinking of teaming such that we have a group of teachers who focus on a certain set of students to make sure we meet their needs. We're looking at furniture right now. We are looking at hiring, of course. I'll start that in late January, early February. And so just so many moving parts, but it's going to be amazing.
What's your biggest fear?
That's a good question.
Not that you live in fear, because I know you live in faith, but
there are always fears. I just want to do what's right for my children. I want to make sure that everyone is successful and help them to reach their potential. And it looks different for every student.
Sure.
So making sure that I adhere to all those needs, and also grow the teachers so that we can adhere to their needs, and also grow me so that I can be a better leader and follower at times.
For someone who's opening a brand new campus, there aren't a lot of people that get to do that, right? So are there groups out there, are there resources that you can connect with other principals that have been through that, and you can say, hey, tell me what are some of the blind spots and things that I really need to be thinking about when day one we got kids coming to this school that have never had kids in it before.
Okay. Well, fortunately, we have Kyle Rigarello, who's in the district, and she opened up Curley Elementary School last year. So I call on her quite often, and I just got online and started Googling freshman centers because I wanted to talk about, how to structure the schedule. Coach LaPlante and I've talked about that a lot. Are you transporting kids back and forth? And just questions about freshman centers, period. And so I reach out to everyone. That includes parents, too, because I want to get their perspective. I talk to students. So I am definitely reaching out and asking for as much help as possible. The goal is that we're not virtually next year.
Right,
that hopefully we're not amidst of COVID, because if not, my plans right now are both in person as well as virtually.
So you're having to contingent plan for both.
Yes.
Even for next fall.
Yeah, I'm a planner, so got to think about it.
Yeah,
That's why I think Coach LaPlante and I get along so well.
Don't we have a meeting tomorrow?
We do.
I think we do.
We do have a meeting.
You are both planners for sure.
Yes.
Speaking of that, so how do you guys talk about, because ninth graders, obviously they can't drive, so they're over there on the other side of town. Yeah, right. Yeah, you're gonna. The high school's the most dangerous place in Hutto. The ninth graders there might be the safest place because there's no kids driving. How do you guys begin to plan, like you were talking about, of athletics? I know obviously we're gonna have a field over there, a practice field, and it's going to be kind of self-contained. But occasionally you're going to have some athletes that are freshmen who they need to be playing over on varsity. So how do you deal with that?
Well, as we've talked, we find every perspective is different, and when you're creating that schedule for teachers, for coaches, for the administration, there's so many areas that do affect it, from how many lunch schedules are you going to have, when can the athletic periods be, transportation, if it's before school or after school with the parents, what facilities drive what you can have on her campus to possibly having to bus people in here, how many bus schedules will we have district-wide, will the high school start at the same time as the freshman center, will the periods be the same? Some of the stuff you don't know until you get enrollment.
Into it, because we've talked over and over again. Like we said, we have a meeting tomorrow, but there's so many moving pieces. Because one of the things is we want to make sure we don't have kids moving often. We have the train, we have the schedules, but for the facilities, there are certain things that we cannot offer right now at the ninth grade center, where kids have to go for baseball and for softball. We're looking at how many teachers, how many coaches will need to transport, not just athletics, but just career and technical education. So it's a puzzle, and we're learning to put that puzzle piece together.
Well, and you don't have next year's budget numbers. That'll come February, March, possibly. So,
and then students choosing different courses. That doesn't happen until the spring. So a lot of what we were doing is preliminary planning, and then once we get those numbers, we do the snapshot in October and also the course offerings in the spring. Then we'll have a better picture of what we're able to do.
Yeah, I think folks have no idea what all goes into running a school district, running a school, opening a new school.
And then for us having to work in concert, because the goal is not to the freshman center is built to help the freshmen. We don't want to not be able to offer certain courses or certain athletics because we're on two separate campuses.
Right.
So we're working it out.
It's going to be fun. Hey Ryan, bring the numbers over here. We're going to do our first drawing.
All right.
Dr. Whitfield, I'm going to let you choose the number out of the hat. Mix them up. And first number chosen gets choice.
Nice.
All right. What number is it? Just call the last two digits.
07.
Number 7. Who's got 7? Angela Bueno.
Woo, Miss Bueno. You get to choose.
Hat. This one's upside down because it's got the numbers in it. Hat or shirt. Shirt.
It's beautiful.
Congratulations.
Let's give her a hand.
Good job. Let's do one more. And then we'll save one for the end.
8.
Number 8. 7, then 8. What, Dean, are you 8? She was 7. Oh, 8. Awesome. Which hat do you prefer? This one? Okay. No, that's all right. This was an easy transition right here. What?
It goes with everything.
Oh, somebody's number's stuck back there. Oh, another number.
I'm going to double check the honesty. Yep.
Yeah, let's be sure.
You're right.
The Forrest family, we have to
Yeah.
worry about
Well,
them.
let me
but-
come.
Can't
let's
trust
see.
those Forrests. Congratulations. All right, and we will draw the last one here in just a second. Well, Dr. Whitfield, thank you so much. We are excited about the ninth grade center. I know you've got a lot of work to do to get to that point, but we appreciate how you support guys like Landon and our student athletes and what you're going to be doing there at the ninth grade center. The district could not have made a better choice. So,
right.
Thank
yeah,
you.
we're
Thank
all
you.
excited about that.
Thank you for having me.
Well, Brad, let's talk a little bit about the first district game coming up, Westwood, coming up this Friday. And first time officially, I mean, I guess Waco was a 6A school, right? So we've played a 6A school now. But the first district 6A game ever for the Hutto Hippos. That's kind of cool in a way. I mean,
it's great.
Some hadn't really talked about, but this is our first ever district 6A football game for
awesome.
Hutto. Yeah. Talk a little about Westwood. Of course, they played, who'd they play? Lake Travis? Was that who they played?
Yes.
Yeah. Took it on the chin, but a lot of people take it on the chin against Lake Travis.
They played San Antonio
63-20.
Southwest and got a win, and then played, I think it was 63-20. But you'll see there's some drop balls and missed opportunities that early on would have positively impacted that game against Lake Travis. But the reason behind them playing Lake Travis is to get ready for the Hutto Hippos.
Sure.
So I know they've been, earmarking this game, and they'll be ready. And they're a good team. I think Anthony Wood, he's been over there for, I think 17 or 18 years. So he knows his kids. He knows the ins and outs. He knows the area. And I guarantee he's been studying the Hutto Hippos for quite some time.
Pretty good quarterback they've got, right?
I do. R.J. Martinez, who's got multiple Division I offers, has a nice, athletic academic award that he just got even earlier today. And he drives them. He absolutely drives them. Of course, they got a nice wide receiver, their ex-receiver, number 7, and a bunch of good possession guys. They leverage their routes very well off the defenders that they're going up against. Two nice size tackles that we think are pretty formidable guys, probably the best guys on their offensive line. So if Landon gets to blitz or go against one of them, that'd be a good little challenge over there that he'll enjoy and have fun with. And they got a good tailback. They got everything that you would expect a good 6A program to be. That they're fast. They'll get on the ball and they will tempo you. So you have to have short calls and good. We have to play good base defense. We have to line up right and make sure we're playing fast and getting to the ball or they'll get after you a little bit. Special teams wise, he's got some different formations. Known to fake punt, onside kick, over and over and over.
Really?
So you'll be expecting that. And our kids, we've talked about that. Our staff certainly knows about that. And you have to line up and prepare for things there. Even if you don't get a good return, just get the ball. Let us do what we do. And then, defensively, a couple different fronts, a 3 down and a 4 down. And they'll do a good job of keeping things in front of them. They don't want to get beat over the top. They'll give you the short pass. They'll rally to it. They've got a new defensive coordinator this year, throwing a lot of different things at you. So the offensive line definitely needs to be ready. And, of course, we'll have a couple guys out in that first half. So we're going to have to see some young guys step up and do a good job. And, of course, our deal against them is can we sustain the momentum that we had that second half defensively and offensively and get a fast start. Get a fast start. Defense has been on the field, the last 2 games to start. We'll see what we can do. But our first possession, whatever it is, after that opening special teams, we must do better. We must do better.
Talk just for a second about, and you mentioned it, we're going to have a couple of guys out first half because of some extracurricular things that happened there in the second half of that game. How much do you address that Saturday, whenever it is after the game, that, hey, teams like Waco the other night, they're just inviting you to do something wrong. They're inviting you to make a mistake, to get a penalty, and you can't play into their hands when they do those kind of things. You got to be more disciplined. How do you work on discipline?
How do we work on it, Landon?
Well, we definitely do discipline. Saturday, he preached that not having the right amount of discipline can get us beat in close games. And no, with all the coaches agreeing to that, we do punishment Saturdays for extracurricular things Friday nights. So we know not to do it again. So they definitely enforce discipline.
The punishment's not fun, is it?
No.
Little bit of running.
Yeah, a little bit of running, a little bit of everything, pretty much.
We had good variety, didn't we? I mean, that was really good. That was like 50-50 run, play action, pass. It was really good, Todd.
How was so first practice this week? Getting ready for the first district game. How was practice Monday? I know sometimes Monday practices can drag a little bit, but how'd you feel the guys did this morning?
Well, it's all about the mentality, because there may be a lot of teaching on a Monday. There may be not a lot of teaching if you have your base stuff set for that week. But the things that we threw out, our guys, they seemed to follow along. They were ready to go. Because it's always easy to bounce back on a Monday after a good win and a good second half, and feeling good on senior night and playing in front of your home crowd. But now your second part of your season is starting. Every game is important, and there's a rhyme and a reason on what you do, and as you're building that team. But this one's for the district title. If you want to win the district title, you want to win this one. So that's one of our players' goals is to win that district title. So they came out this morning with a great attitude and practice like they want that district title. So they're right where we wanted them to be after getting a day away from us.
And obviously back on the road, which means kind of like 2 weeks ago, no band and a little bit of lacking. Now, one thing is we certainly can have some more fans on the road than we had 2 weeks ago in College Station. I know College Station limited more than what Round Rock and some other places are doing, but it's also a lot shorter travel, right?
It is.
So we need a lot of folks to get over there and Dragon Stadium and support the Hippos, because we're not going to have the band, and I don't know about cheer.
We'll have cheer and dance there.
Okay.
No tunnel, no band.
Okay.
But I mean, if people can't, whether they're watching it on our network and watching it, whether it's on later on in the week where they watched it live, whether they've come to both games as families, if they can't tell that our players love our fans and feed off them,
feed off of that, yeah.
They got to check themselves, I guess, at the door a little bit. So, no, we need that crowd over there. And they're going to see two good football teams. This one is, part of what's going to be for the District 25 6A run. And, you got good quarterbacks on both. You got, good individual players, but you also have, good programs. people know the Hutto Hippos. People know the Westwood Warriors, too.
Yeah.
So, I think it's going to be a great matchup. A lot of their games have been 77-76, 44-42. Who knows what the predicted score
Big 12 kind of
this
games.
one's going to be. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, it'll be fun. And, Landon, I know you're excited to play that first district game of your final season.
Yes, sir.
But especially being 6A, that's just kind of cool that the Hippos are playing 6A district football beginning this Friday night.
You get some new programs, some new good programs that have been good over the past years, some new opponents, some new things, some new schemes, offensively and defensively. It'll be good for the young guys to get that early.
Absolutely.
Well, if you're a competitor, you want to play against the best. You want to be at the highest classification level, so that's good. Yeah,
so that's 7 o'clock Friday night at Dragon Stadium. Get your tickets online. Should be tomorrow if you go to hipponation.org/athletics. Just click on that link, the little icon that says purchase tickets, and we'll have the link for buying the visiting tickets for the game Friday night. Of course, for those that can't be there, you can watch it live stream on the same link that you're watching the coaches show tonight.
And people want to check on parking. There is a church nearby there that I think they're doing $5 parking. So a lot of the parking is on the west side. The home side, you're going to have a little bit of a walk there, but there is a church there, and I'll try to get that information to you.
Okay.
So we can have that on Hutto Hippos Facebook and our other social media outlets as well.
Yeah, if you're not following Hutto Hippos Facebook page, not the district Facebook page, but Hutto Hippos Facebook page, that's our athletic Facebook page, then we get a lot of information on there as well. All right, just running through District 25 6A last week. District had a good week. McNeil lost to Pflugerville 21-14. Stony Point defeated Bowie 30-27. I think I saw something like that's the first time Bowie had lost in their first game, or I don't know. There was some stat that was a big win for Stony Point. Lake Travis, we mentioned, defeated Westwood 63-20. Vandergrift defeated Allison 44-7. Vista Ridge defeated Leander 45-7. Round Rock beat Belton, the guys that y'all scrimmaged, 35-33. And in the battle of the Cedars, Cedar Ridge lost to Cedar Park 28-14. Pretty competitive game.
Absolutely.
So, all right, y'all been giving me a hard time because the first 2 weeks of the coach show we didn't do the picks like we've done in the past. So here come the picks tonight. All right, we got 3 high school games, which is going to be our district games, and then I lined out 5 college games. So Vista Ridge at McNeil.
Vista Ridge.
Okay. Ryan. Vista Ridge. Okay. I'm going Vista Ridge. Gage. Vista Ridge. Landon, just for fun, what's your pick?
Vista Ridge.
Okay. Round Rock at Cedar Ridge.
Let's go Round Rock.
Interesting. Okay. Ryan. We don't have all night. Cedar Ridge. Okay. I'm going Cedar Ridge. Gage. Cedar Ridge. Landon.
Round Rock.
Round Rock. Okay. Way to stick with your coach. Yeah. All right. Stony Point at Vandergrift.
Vandergrift.
Yeah. Ryan. Yeah. Gage. Yes. Landon. Try that. All right. Here we go. Our 5 college games. We'll go Tennessee at Arkansas. Mm-hmm. Is that right? No. Tennessee at Georgia.
Georgia.
Tennessee was pretty impressive the other day. Oh, no, we're not picking against the spread. I didn't get the spread. We'll do it straight up.
Do you bet a lot? I don't even know what the spread means, sir.
Yes. You said Georgia, right? Brad.
Yes, please.
Ryan? Tennessee. Oh, I'm going Georgia. Gage? Georgia. Landon?
Tennessee.
Okay. Florida at A&M.
Gators.
Okay. Ryan? Yeah, Ryan would never pick A&M. I'll go Florida. Gage? Wow, unanimous. Maybe.
Florida.
Landon? Florida. Okay. All right, Landon, here you go. Kansas State at TCU.
TCU.
Okay.
Kansas State. I know coaches on both, but I've known the Kansas State ones longer, plus Deuces there.
Kansas State's hot. Kansas State for Ryan. I'm going TCU. Right there with you, Landon. Gage? TCU.
Don't tell Coach Farmer, darn it.
All right. Tech at Iowa State. You're not going to hurt my feelings.
You know what? I'm going to go with Matt and Iowa State up there.
Are you really?
I am.
Think they'll pull it off? Okay. Ryan? Man. I have to go against them. Iowa State. Gage? Iowa State. Landon?
Iowa State.
It's because I've seen it happen way too many times.
But are you going to be happier with your pick or if Guns Up wins?
Well, what do you think?
Okay, so let's go.
So it's psychological.
Way good.
Yeah. All right, and finally, UT-OU. Weird OU-UT game. OU's out of the top 25 for the first time in years.
I'm going OU.
Are you? Okay. Ryan? UT-OU. I'm going OU as well. Gage? UT. Landon?
OU.
OU. All right.
$100 to the football program.
What's that?
$100 to Hutto Athletics if UT wins.
Okay. Drew Hargrove. Fingerprint Ideas. Donating money if UT wins. All right. Our final pick. You're about to be somebody's hero. What's the number? Last 2.
11.
Number 11. She's got number 11. Number 11.
Must be present to win.
Yes. Do we need to draw again? All right. Somebody just missed out on a cool hat. And somebody has an. Is they here? Are they here? Oh, they did. All right. There we go.
2.
Number 2. Number 2. Ryan Bowles.
Hello, Ryan.
Sweet hat. You can probably sell that. Or you can wear it. I'm just saying. All right. That's fun. We'll do that again. Come every night or come each Monday, and Drew and Fingerprint Ideas will donate swag, right? Thanks, Drew. No, yeah, all that's courtesy of Fingerprint Ideas, sponsoring the Coaches Show. We appreciate that. Well, it's been a fun night, Coach. Good luck Friday night in the first district ball game for the Hippos in 6A.
Let's do it.
Gets to get a win and then be 1-0 in district play and headed towards the playoffs. Dr. Whitfield, thanks for joining us tonight. You did a great job. Can't wait to see you over at the 9th grade center. Landon, awesome job.
Thank you.
Get after him Friday night.
Yes, sir.
All right. We'll be talking to you again before the season's over with.
Yes, sir.
I'm pretty sure. All right. Thanks for joining us for the Coaches Show. We do this again every Monday night. Come join us at the patio at Rio Grande Restaurant. And for those of you that are watching, couldn't make it out, we appreciate you tuning in. But come be here with us next Monday night. For Coach LaPlante, for Dr. Whitfield, Landon Watson, Gage Bowles doing the engineering. I'm Todd Robinson. Have a great week, everybody.